Hey everybody, it's Irene with BrainStormAcres. And today we're going to continue the potato process, and we're going to plant some in buckets in the greenhouse. We got our potato in faster than we anticipated, our potato seed potatoes, and we just decided that some of the ones that were heavily sprouted, we were just going to go ahead and plant in the greenhouse. Now, we've debated how we're going to do it, and in the past what we would do is we would take a bucket like this and we would stick two here, fill it in a bit with dirt, and then stick two here. And we're going to continue that process again today, but we're also going to try something that we saw on another YouTube channel, Steve's Seaside Gardens in the UK. Now, not everything that works in the UK works in the US, and vice versa, because we definitely have different climates and different varieties of potatoes. But we figured this kind of sort of made some sense. So what he does is he takes small pots like this, and he takes potatoes that have started to sprout. They call that chitting, by the way. And he just plain sticks them in the pots. And then he lets them grow. And he'll fill them up with dirt, and he lets them grow. And then when they get larger, he'll actually transplant these into a pot. He puts two into a pot about this size. So, I don't know. It's as good an idea as any other one that we've seen anytime soon. So we're going to try it. And it'll be something to watch over the course of the summer this year. These potatoes, I have to double check. These are Adirondack Blue. I think they're 85 days, which is an early potato. So let's get going. All I'm going to do is take the potatoes and stick them so the sprouts are going up. Now in this case I'm going to move these guys out of the way. I'll fill them in later. A whole bunch of dirt tossed into this pot. I'll just use it as a source of dirt with my fancy, ever elaborate sour cream container. I know I'm going to need more, but that's okay. It's a start. And all we've ever done in the past, and I'm covering everything up. I'm covering up the potatoes, I'm covering up the sprouts that have come out of them, all that sort of stuff. And I'm also remembering where they are, so I know that they were right there. So that means my next set of potatoes go right here. And I've put some dirt in there now. Gonna bring it up a little higher. And I'm gonna put two more potatoes in there. And this time I'm going to put them sort of at right angles to the one so that it forms a cross. You've got two there and you've got two there. And now all I have to do is fill up the rest of the pot. I'm going to do it a bit gently to start with because I don't want to break anything. And now that those are covered, I'll just kind of dump this in on top. Now the first year that we did this, we did get some potatoes, but more importantly, we figured out what had been eating our potatoes. And sometimes you have to consider that to be just as big a win as if you got a good harvest of potatoes. Having potatoes being grown in a controlled environment with potting soil that was not depleted in any way or anything else made us realize that we had a grub problem. And once we knew that, we were able to figure out what kind of grubs they were and how to fix it. Our area of the country periodically has fairly major problems with June beetles. I always have found June beetle grubs in the beds, and I had no idea what they were. And yeah, when we had a whole stack of June beetles show up in the pots, that's when we figured out what it was. That year had a particularly bad infestation of June beetles, and they love well cared for, soft, full of humus type soil. Just exactly what most gardeners are also in love with. So this guy's done. I've got 4 more chitted potatoes here. I'm going to stick them in the same exact pattern as I did the last ones. You can use any kind of good potting soil for this. Some people use straight compost. In general, we have not liked the effect of compost. You can use organics, you can use non-organic versions. Totally up to you. This is our best bet for where we live in terms of availability, price, etc., etc. So, then my husband stopped by one of the garden supply stores the other day that we have actually bought some decent stuff from before. And he said their soil and their mulch was crap. He doesn't like it when I use that word. Their soil and their mulch was not good quality. We'll stick with the bag stuff. All right, so I've got 2 there. Now I'm going to stick, and I've got dirt in between, and I'm going to stick these 2 here. I'm going to stick labels in the pots because I don't want confusion. I have to raise the level here. Got ahead of myself there. Okay, and that's what we have to do. So, the guy in the UK that was doing this, Steve, from Steve's Seaside Gardens, his goal is to produce baking potatoes by June. He wants 2 baking potatoes a week by June. Okay. He runs a really tight ship in terms of his goals for production. We don't get quite that wrapped up in it. But it will be fun to try this. I just need to fill these guys up with soil. And yeah, we have to water them and then we have to wait. I'm going to keep these in the greenhouse. We are nowhere near done with winter at this point. But at least for the next couple of nights, we're supposed to be above freezing. That's a good start. We'll see how it goes in the long run. I anticipate having to cover these extra. Most of what I've got in the greenhouse right now are brassicas, which are very tolerant of cold. So potatoes are not that tolerant of cold. They don't like being frosted. So if we're starting to have some extra cold nights, I'll simply cover these up. I can always put some sort of hoops on top with plastic. I probably have some sort of floating row cover or something too that I could use, but I'll probably just use plastic. And we'll see if we can keep these guys going. We'll see if we can give them a head start over what I would do outside. And yeah, so it's a big experiment, something that we're doing a lot of this year. We always do some every year. So, hope you find this interesting. It just goes to show how complicated it is to grow potatoes. In the past, we've done something similar like to this. Some people just choose to stick 1 or 2 potatoes in. Some people stick 3. Some people get fancy. A lot of it depends on your size. These are only 10-gallon pots. Some people who use 20-gallon pots will put more in. Some people who use 10-gallon pots will put less in. Experiment, keep track of what you did, and see how it turns out. To me, if I come up with more potatoes than what I planted, I'm generally pretty happy, and we've always managed to do that. So, yeah. So until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and come back and see us, because you got to know what happens. Bye.